If you think that anyone is getting business because they're a minority-owned business, I think that disappeared 20 years ago.
Follow the Leader features dynamic women entrepreneurs in their journeys to becoming a success in business. This podcast is an inspirational space for entrepreneurs, future entrepreneurs, and thought leaders as they share their keys to success. I am Chanel Christoph Davis, the CEO and founding partner of the largest woman and minority-owned sales tax advisory practice in the country, Davis & Harmon, LLC. Today, we are welcoming to the podcast to Follow the Leader, our guest leader, Margo Posey. I am so honored to have her today. This is like a big get for us. I had like this ultimate dream list of everyone I want to talk to and have as guests on my podcast, and Margo was at the very tippy top of the list. And due to these uncertain times with, COVID-19, everyone is kind of sheltering in place, and all of a sudden I have access to this, world-class list of leaders to talk to and bring to my Follow the Leader audience. So all the information that I've been learning and gathering over my 19 years of being in business, I am packaging it up and giving it to the audience via Follow the Leader. And I'm sharing with you world-class leaders to help you grow your businesses, thrive, and hopefully survive and do better after the pandemic. Today we have Margo Posey. She is the president and CEO of the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. Margo's core responsibilities are she is the leader, she's a strategic execution and visionary, and she also gives service to the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council's membership. And the mission of the council is to encourage and facilitate procurement and business opportunities between buying entity members and certified minority business enterprises, which I'm one of them. I am a certified MBE. And under Ms. Margo's leadership, the DFW Minority Supply Diversity Council, MSDC, certified minority-owned businesses have reported over $6.7 billion in 2019. And we have hired and retained over 31,000 jobs for a major economic impact for North Texas and our state and our country. So that is the impact of the DFW MSDC. So welcome, Margo. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, Chanel. Thank you so much for having me. I was so flattered by the introduction, you saying that I was part of your top list. I can't imagine that, but thank you again. And I am so honored, but I am so proud of you as a certified minority-owned business of the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. You are amazing. I know that you're amazing. And you took time from your normal business to innovate and do something different that is going to be beneficial, not just to you and your business, but to the folks that tune into your podcast. So I'm excited to be here.
Yes. I mean, thank you for those kind words, but it's absolutely my gift to, minority and women-owned businesses to share what I have gathered over the years, because it's a tough road. It's not easy being an entrepreneur. And like I said, I've been doing it for 19 years. So my idea was really to expose people who, don't have access to these great resources. Maybe they're not in Dallas-Fort Worth, which, I think we have one of the best councils and one of the best business environments in the world, really. Dallas is an amazing place to be an entrepreneur. Wouldn't you say so, Margo?
Absolutely. We've been fortunate and we've been blessed when other areas of the country were really having a hard time. Dallas and the Metroplex, we were able to keep our heads up because there was still plenty of opportunities. If you go on any highway, you know that there's work being done. There's cranes all over, so there's construction. There's a variety, a myriad of opportunities here, and we're not just one industry. We're many industries. So that has been helpful for our MBEs, and they've been able to survive from, actually, when you think about it, the depression of 2008 through 2019. We did not get hit as hard as everyone else. Now, I don't know what the future looks like, but I'm no different than anyone else. And my belief is that we will survive. We'll get through this, and we will have businesses like yours that do a phenomenal job. You'll continue to do that. Hopefully, we'll get you more exposure so you can do it with more folks. Yeah. And, I said right before the podcast that the pandemic, as horrid as it has been, yes, okay, because we've lost lives, we've lost loved ones, yes, there's been some positive. And to me, the positive is that people have learned that they can do things differently. And for those entrepreneurs that are willing to take the challenge, to take a chance, to be courageous, like yourself, okay, there are opportunities out there. And I truly believe this. I don't believe it's ever been easy for minority-owned businesses. Minority-owned businesses have always had to work harder, longer, and first
be creative,
creative. First ones out, last ones in. That whole concept. But I have seen amazing work from some of our MBEs, and I'm delighted, I'm proud that people just didn't sit back and say, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. No, people found avenues and said, hey, I'm going to make this work. And that is what being an entrepreneur, and particularly a minority business, is all about. And the council has 889 active locally certified MBEs. We have a total of 996, a little bit maybe more than that, where we have minority-owned businesses that were certified from other states, but they want to do business with Dallas or in Fort Worth. And right. So they've aligned with the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council to receive that access. So when you say, this area, we're different. We're different from but I'm going to tell you that it's because of the strength of our MBEs and also the strength of our buying entity partners. When you've got companies like Toyota, Vistra Energy, just two that I think go over and above trying to ensure that they're doing business with MBEs. And I know you want to say something about Ericsson, because they've been a phenomenal customer or client of yours. Yes, and you've done so many phenomenal things for them. And when you think about it, that's really unique, because they're an expat. They're not a U.S. company. Yes, and so the challenge is that you've been able to get them through. It's amazing. Yes. Just amazing. And you work with them throughout the entire country. So,
yes, but it's business partners
like that have helped the council survive through bad times, and will continue to help us, because we're looking at how we can get our buying entities, even in this climate where we know people are talking about their budgets have been impacted. They're looking at how they're going to procure in the future. Many corporations, still have their doors closed. Many have said their budgets have been impacted so harshly that they don't know what they're going to procure for the remainder of 2020 and 2021. And we get that. The council gets that. We understand. We appreciate. We want to help and support them. But we also know that there are still opportunities that minority-owned businesses can help and be the solution for their problems. And I got to tell you, through all of this and with the PPEs, the pandemic products, you know, when major organizations could not respond, our MBEs responded, and not just responded, but delivered.
Absolutely.
And so we need to ensure that going forward, and when the pandemic, whenever it's over, that we recognize those MBEs, and those MBEs still have the same kind of opportunities and even more that they had during the pandemic.
Yeah, I
heard all that. I know you didn't ask all that, but I just had to.
Yeah, I've heard so many amazing stories from MBEs who stepped up to provide, you know, face masks and switch their production so that they can start to, you know, create, you know, hand sanitizers and face shields. It has been remarkable. And like you said, there's got to be, when this is all over, an avenue and an opportunity to recognize everyone through this pandemic. You know, every MBE who stepped up and was flexible and nimble and called, you know, answered the call, and also kept us all connected, because that's been a huge challenge, is how do you keep this community connected when we're all social distancing? It's just so many new, it's a whole new way of doing business, a way of thinking about doing business. And I don't know about you, I'm Zoom zapped. I mean, I
have Zoom fatigue.
So, I mean, yeah, once we all transition out of this time period, we absolutely can't forget what amazing, you know, amount of resilience has been shown, and all the players that kept our network strong.
Absolutely. And, you know, I believe that we will all do business differently.
Yes.
In the future, you know, it's been interesting to me because the council, because we serve buying entities, we have about 80 local corporations. I already told you about our MBEs, but staying in touch with those corporations in some respect has been a little bit difficult, because they're the supply chain professionals. Okay, the buyers, the contract administrators, everybody's working from their home.
Everybody's at home.
And whereas, you know, in the past, it was still hard. Let me just say this, it was hard to connect with the right person within any corporation, any buying entity. It's always been difficult. But now you add on the fact that people are working from home. No one wants to give out their home number.
I know,
right?
I know.
And so trying to even
make those inroads, yes.
I mean, that is true due diligence. It's due diligence for us. And just think about it. We actually, the council, because of our relationship with our buying entity partners, we do have connections. We do know how to contact people. But again, the whole issue of access will change going forward. I don't think any of our large corporations are going to come back with full-time staff. I've heard everything from July to September to when a vaccine is put out there. So given the fact that we don't have the same kind of access, we all have to pivot. We all have to do things differently. And it really does get down to those folks that are willing to go that extra mile. And all of us are doing that now.
Yeah, so you have to give us some tips. Because that has been a challenge for me, is to figure out, you know, one thing I think that I'm very blessed in, that I don't mind picking up a phone and talking to folks. I don't mind, you know, if I'm bothering you, okay, you're gonna have to tell me I'm bothering you. I mean, you have to be persistent. You cannot.
Absolutely.
Back down. So right now, I want, you know, entrepreneurs that are listening to this podcast to know that this is not the time to retreat. Like, you need to double down on that thing and get more creative, more innovative. If you were to give 3 tips to companies that are listening, you know, small businesses that are listening, that's trying to figure out how to manage this new landscape and, you know, keeping those connections strong, what would you suggest?
Uh, well, you said one of the things. I believe in persistence. Persistence almost to not to be a pest, but so close, so close.
You gotta
Um,
teeter on that edge of pestum.
yes, just on an edge. But you've got to do that. You've got to be persistent. But most importantly, I think you've got to do some homework. You got to try to figure out where people are, and the solution that you can provide. Because the days of you, if you think that anyone is getting business because they're a minority-owned business, I think that disappeared 20 years ago.
Yes.
And maybe people weren't honest enough and said it. But if you cannot provide a solution, and so you've got to know your business back in and out, in and out, so you can provide a solution. And in providing the solution, that means you're going to have to do more due diligence than ever before, because I would tell you, and we have resources and we can connect you, but you need to read the annual report of that client that you're trying to go after, so you get a snapshot of where they are. And I guarantee you, whatever they put in their 2019 annual report, it's probably in the toilet on how they need to proceed. But you've got to be one step in front of them. Because if you don't have a solution, if you can't say, here's how I can help you, because you can't go in and say, well, how can I help you? No one has time for that. You're not going to get an audience. But if you can say, listen, I see that you were doing X, and this has been impacted by the pandemic, but we can help you with this and get you to the next level. People are looking for solutions. They're looking for answers, and they're willing to take those answers from anyone that's able to provide them. Okay, so know your business before anything else. Look at being a solution provider. Yes. And be persistent. And whether this was a pandemic or not, we would say those things to any supplier that is trying to do business either with corporations or public sector agencies. I would tell you so at the council operates the Dallas-Fort Worth Minority Supplier Development Council. We're part of 23 councils in the National Minority Supplier Development Council network. We are the certification of choice of corporate America, and so we have more corporate contacts and access to corporations and supplier diversity professionals than any other organization, chamber out there. Okay, we have those touch points, but it's much more difficult to, again, getting to the buyers. Yes. and contract administrators. But in addition to operating the council in Dallas, the Dallas Council also operates the Department of Commerce's Minority Business Development Agency Business Center. Okay, we talked about this. We don't do anything that doesn't have a whole lot of words, a whole lot of
we are acronym rich. Yes.
But let me tell you about the MBDA Center. We have a grant. We're in the 10th year of the second 5-year grant. We had 2 5-year grants. We just started April 1st, the last year of this final grant. Looks like we'll do another grant, but we don't know. But what the center does is it works individually with minority-owned businesses as it relates to identifying opportunities, also access to capital. If you want to do export, import, there's a myriad of things that the MBDA offers. If you're a certified MBE with the council, all of those services are free. Okay. If you're not, then there's a standard typical fee, but it's minimal. I share with you about the MBDA because part of what they do is they help to identify opportunities. And the federal government, their calendar year is September 30th. And same thing for most state agencies.
Yeah, most of them are September 30th, yes.
Right. So what happens is, between June and August, they're scurrying to fill all those orders, place those contracts, because if they lose that money, one, they won't get the money again next year. And, they've got deadlines and they've got goals to meet. So if you believe you could do business with the federal government or state government, you really probably need to contact us and talk to our MBDA staffers, because they work one-on-one with individuals. Okay. And again, there's opportunities out there. We don't always know what the opportunities are, and certainly not on the private sector side. But, we try to assist where we can. And the other thing, and Chanel, this, I truly believe that our MBEs probably know a lot more than any third-party organization, including the council, including me, on how to engage with potential clients, okay? And more importantly, who they need to be engaging with, because that's part of the whole issue. How do you get to the person, the right person, and the person that understands what it is that you deliver? And that's not necessarily the first person you're going to engage with at any organization.
Correct. So yeah, you named a couple things that I wanted to highlight. One is, you have to know your business inside and out to be successful in this whole arena. I mean, you have to be conversant. You have to have, I would say, case studies to support your business valuation and your value proposition. You have to have ways to illustrate and tell a story to be able to communicate what you do. And if you don't know how to develop those things, you need to tap into resources to help you, like the MBDA. There's agencies, there's places that can help you kind of structure your business in a way where you can better communicate your story. Another thing I would like to say is, those annual reports are like available, public, on the web. I mean, we are living in a digital age where you don't have to physically go to a library to look up anything. You can actually go online and see any public entity's annual report, and it gives you a treasure trove of information about where the company is. And it's a starting point. It's a conversation starter. So you're echoing what the company's already saying that their goals are. So that's very important. And I just really urge people out there to not give up hope, to do your research, and really try to be a resource when you reach out to a company. Come to them with a solution forward, instead of, like Margo said, asking, how can I help? That's just not going to be a great opening. It's not going to be a great conversation starter. So do your work, do your part, and then come to the table with some solutions. So I also want to say, I'll ask you, in the age of COVID-19, Margo, how has the Minority Business Council, how have you guys pivoted? I know that you guys have a lot of signature programs that you put on every year. First of all, they're like so fab and so posh. If you guys have never been to one of our council events, our gala, our E-Awards is one of the highlights of the year. It's usually around November, around holiday time. So what are some of your signature events, and what's your favorite signature event?
Oh gosh, so our Access Business Expo brings together, it connects corporations, public sector agencies, and state agencies with minority-owned businesses. And for the last 12 years, I went to Senator Royce West back in 12 or 13 years ago. And he was a real advocate in trying to get the state agencies to do more business with minority-owned businesses. But the state agencies are actually required to do business with Hub certified MBEs.
Yes.
So if you get certified with the council, then you automatically, if your business is primary in Texas, you automatically get Hub certification. So we had a ready, able available pool. And I went to the senator and I said, why don't you partner with us? And he sort of looked at me, but he did it. And the first year we did that, the first year we did it, I think he invited all the state agencies. I think maybe 20, 25 showed up for our Access Expo. But they did $156,000 worth of contracts in those 2 days on site with our MBEs. Let's fast forward to 2019. In 2019, when we did the spot bid fair in conjunction with Access, the state agencies, we had 85 that participated, and those 85 agencies did $6 million in contracts in those 2 days.
Oh, wow.
With MBE.
On site.
Right on site. Now, the interesting thing is they actually did 10 million, but I'm not counting the folks that were not MBEs.
Okay,
this was 6 million. So when you ask me what's one of my favorite events, it's got to be Access, because it really speaks to what we do in connecting people and giving people the opportunity to visit with a lot of organizations under one roof at one time. For the state agencies, it's a 2-day span. For the corporations, they're just there for 1 day. So that's one of my favorite, and I got to tell you, we always do it the first and second Tuesday of May. So May 5th came around, and I was so sad.
I know.
I was so sad.
I know.
Because we weren't doing Access. And I say that the first Monday and Tuesday for me are just phenomenal, and they're great. But that first Wednesday is even better because it's behind me. And
you got through it, yes.
And that's not the case this year, because we are doing a virtual Access. We will have some of the same components. Actually, we'll have more, because interestingly enough, we talk about being Zoom fatigue, but I've found that this is also an opportunity to sometimes tap into people that we wouldn't have access to. So we envision that we're going to have a CEO view from the top summit and forum, and we're also going to have a CPO summit where we get some of the CPOs to share with us what their vision is going forward in new now. And that's going to be August 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Okay. I'm writing that down.
Put it down on your calendar. It will be a virtual event. We're going to be doing roundtables where you can visit with various corporations, and they're going to be able to tell you what their new now is. And we also are going to do one-on-one matchmakers, and we'll be sending that information out. So Chanel, you need to sign up for all the matchmakers you want to attend. I'm
so excited. And if you guys need speakers, I'm here. If you need me.
Okay. All right. Okay. Sounds great.
All right.
Sounds great. So that's, and you mentioned e-awards. I mean, the council, we probably, we push out at least one activity a month pre-COVID. We were pushing out something every month. Some activities were larger than others. Certainly Access, we glean over anywhere from 12 to 1,500 people that come to that. Our E-Awards Gala in 2019, we had over 800 folks in black tie being recognized for their achievements as businesses and what they did in the minority space. So those are two of my favorite events, but there's not anything that we do that I don't enjoy. And when if I'm not enjoying it, that means we probably need to do it a whole lot better, or maybe we don't need to do it at all.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you just touched upon something that I want to highlight too. I have to say, for entrepreneurs and potential entrepreneurs, I want to express how important it is to tap into these advocacy groups. DFW MSDC is an advocacy group. They are there to provide support and to provide opportunities for MBEs. I was not as tapped in for the last recession when we went through this in 2008, This time I'm much more networked and tapped into the council. And you guys have been doing a great job to support the MBEs. This is just, I mean, it's a part of doing business. It's not, you know, there's no longer a time where you can just start a business and stay in your business and never leave your office and don't go out and network. You have to tap into resources like the DFW, MSDC, because even if you're not in Dallas, you know, Margo has already spoke about, there are companies, minority-owned businesses that don't live in our state or don't operate our state, but you can also have reciprocity and also belong to Dallas's council and tap into all the amazing resources here. So there's really no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse.
So, and I don't know who's on your podcast. I hope everyone. But if there are any businesses on today, and you've not sought out PPP funding, okay, you need to do that. And Chanel, I'm sure you can push this out to anyone that's on the call. But the National Minority Supplier Development Council received funds Friday night. Oh, wow. To be able to participate in the PPP. Okay. And so that's an available avenue for you. And we want to push that out to anyone that still needs funding. There's still money out there. Don't be overwhelmed or afraid to go after it. Now's the time to do that. And even if you don't spell on, there's the EIDL, that's the SBA. They'll give you up to $1,000 for every employee. The PPP, there's a $10,000 forgivable portion of that. So $10,000, it's tied to a loan, but you don't have to take advantage of the loan. And you can still qualify for the PPP. And we just did a seminar on forgiveness. Yes. Where people can be forgiven for that $10,000. We're going to do another one in June because more people will be coming up to do those reports. But we'll send you the link, Chanel, if you could send that out to people. I sure will. Because the other thing is the $10,000. If you do this right, that's going to help your business, and it's forgivable. And yes. Even if you choose to take whatever loan amount that is tied and aligned to that, you can't find cheaper money.
No, you can't.
You cannot find cheaper money.
The interest rates are like menial. There's no such thing as an interest rate of 3% for a business loan. It just does not.
Thank you.
So yeah, this is a very great opportunity for businesses to get ahead and get their footing. Right. So please send me that link, and I will put that in the show notes for the people for the podcast.
Okay. Lourdes will get it over to you right after this call.
Awesome. So last but not least, I want to ask, what is your advice to new entrepreneurs that's listening to the show who's trying to decide whether or not becoming a certified MBE is something that's right for them?
Okay, so I think a couple things. I think that as all entrepreneurs have got to be courageous, okay? And courage, it's interesting. Because when I say you have to be courageous, you've got to be courageous about your business. You've got to be courageous about your family, your friends, balance, all of those things. Yeah. Because you won't make it through unless you are. And stay positive. As it relates to certification, we're not the only certification body in this region. There's two other certifications, but I'll tell you, we're the best. We are the best. All right, now. We're the best, and we process things quicker than anyone else. So if you're a new supplier and you're trying to get certified with the council, we do a pre-certification workshop every Thursday. and you can join in, and we're averaging anywhere from 30 to 50 people because people are understanding that when things come back, what you don't want someone to tell you is, oh, I can't do business because you're not certified. Okay, so sometimes some of the hoops that you have to go through, you just have to go through them.
Yes.
Okay, and in certification is critically important. It is, I'll be honest. I owned a business, and when I owned my business, I was not a certified MBE. I was in Chicago, and I wasn't a certified MBE. I got recruited, and I moved here, and one of my friends called me and said, I cannot believe that you are promoting certification.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, but of course I am. But what I learned was there are a lot of people out there that say that they're a minority-owned business, and they're not. And they're taking away opportunities for those true minority-owned businesses. So now I am a true believer in certification. And I tell you that it's only the first step. It's a first step of many. It's just like, you put up your sign out there, put out your certification. Because what you don't want is you don't want anyone ever to be able to tell you no on something that you could easily do. Okay, and the good news with the council certification is not only do you receive ethnic minority certification, but you receive State of Texas Hub certification, and you receive small business enterprise certification that many of the public sector agencies like the counties, like the city, are utilizing. So you get 3 certifications and only completing one paperwork. Okay. Yeah. So, I just think that it's just one of those things that you need to check off the box. Now, as it relates to the council, though, the council, we're a service organization, and we just had a new MBE orientation yesterday. And I say that this every month, I say it at every orientation. The council and I'm here to serve MBEs. I'm here to serve the entire organization, which is comprised of corporations, public sector agencies, and minority-owned businesses. But if we don't have great MBEs, there's nothing that I can offer those corporations or public sector agencies. But I know that we have great startups, we have great mid-sized companies, and we have companies that can scale to the next level. Absolutely. We all just have to work together to try to ensure that we get those people in front of people and do everything that we can, because minority business and small business really is the engine of the economy. And we're seeing that right now through the pandemic.
Yeah. So can you tell us, Margo, how many certified MBEs there are through the national, like all together, how many certified MBEs are there in the network?
Chanel, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to say this, but I want to say the national network is probably comprised of about 13,000 certified MBEs. Now, in the national network, when you look at it, we probably have close to 900 corporations, public sector agencies, and institutions that are part of the National Minority Supplier Development Council. I just have to say this, you asked about events. We typically, pre-pandemic, we did a quarterly buyers luncheon. And we wanted to get the buyers and supply chain professionals there, and so we didn't charge them. And they were up for a free lunch and recognition. And we would average anywhere from 80 to 90 buyers that were in that room. Sometimes we'd have more buyers than certified MBEs. Wow. And I never could get that because it's you got to show up where you believe people that you can do business with are going to show up. And even if it's not the right person, If you can connect with someone from the organization, they can probably push you to the right person within the organization.
Well, one thing you know, and I know, Margo, that not showing up is not going to help your business. Staying in your office and, tapping on your computer, no one's coming to knock on your door and give you a contract. It's not going to happen, okay? So you do have to expand your network, expand your horizons, and get out of your office and get out and network. And one thing we've learned through this whole COVID-19 crisis is if you're not networked, if you're not certified, use this time to get your ducks in a row, because we're going to have another downturn. We're going to have another crisis. It's inevitable. Business is cyclical. The economy is cyclical. So you don't want to go into another crisis where you're in the same situation you're in now if you're not networked. Work on that now so next time you'll be prepared.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Margo. This has been
Thank you.
You have given us so many gems, so many pearls of wisdom that we're going to take with us and move forward. So like I said earlier, we're going to come out of this pandemic much better than the way we came
Absolutely.
in. Yeah,
Absolutely.
More skilled, learning new things, new ways of doing business. I'm learning all this technology. Look at what's happening. It's amazing. So thank you again, and I will put all your contact information in the show notes so everyone who's interested in being certified can reach out to the agency and get connected today.
Great. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I really enjoyed it, Mark.
And I'll have to tune in to all of your other ones.
Yes, you have to get caught up. We've been doing this for 3 years, but I think 2020 is going to be the best season yet.
It will be.
Yes, absolutely. You can find all of our past episodes on iTunes, Spotify, and Google, or any of your other favorite podcast platforms. Be sure to subscribe to the show, rate, and leave us a review. Let us know how we're doing. Thank you for listening.